All right, what's up guys? Welcome to Adobe Premiere Pro. What I'm gonna do right now is just run down the assignment that you guys will be doing. There is a final video that you will have to create for your final. So what I'm gonna do here is just go ahead and walk through, just a quick walkthrough of what the assignment will look like. So let's get to it. So so we want to start a new project. We're going to go ahead and type in our first and last name and then put RTB 101A. All right. And then right here in the location, you just want to go ahead and click browse, and then you want to find your cohort. So we're working in video production. So what you're going to do is I want you to go into the desktop. So I want you to go to the desktop. I want you to click on Projects NAS 02 folder. Since we're in video production, that's the folder that you're going to be in. Then go to your cohort. And then in your cohort, whatever you might be in, like October days or September days, or whatever cohort you're in, you just want to click on that and create a personal folder. Okay. And then once you create your personal folder, I want you to create a folder named RTB 101A. And this is where all your files and folders will be. Okay. For this course. And then in that folder, I want you to go ahead and create a folder that says Premiere Pro files. Okay. And this is where you're going to, like your auto save files will be from Premiere Pro, just in case the computer shuts down or something like that. Okay. So once you create this folder, you just go ahead and select that folder. Okay. So, and then once you did that, you just go ahead and press OK. Now what we're going to do is import our files. All right. So when you're importing your files, you just go to Assembly. All right. And this brings up this window here, which all your files are going to be in. And then you can just go to File, go down to Import, and just click Import. Okay. So depending on where your files are, that's my files are going to be in a different place. So you just have to find your files that you need and import your files. So whatever folder they're in, you just have to find them and import them. So I have my files in these folders here. So I'm just going to keep double clicking. And once I find my files, I'm just going to click and drag and highlight my files right there. Okay. And then my files are imported. Okay. So once my files are imported, you can see that they were highlighted. So I'm just going to press Control-Z, okay, to undo what I just did. And then I'm just going to go and import. And then I'm just going to click, drag, and go down here to the bottom, press open. And you can see all of these files are highlighted. And then what I do is I just click in this area so they're not highlighted anymore. And then I just go to File, Import, because I have more files that I want to bring in. So I know where those files are. So I want this photo file. So I go to File, Import, because I have a music file that I want. So I just go in there and import my files like that. Okay. So I have my files here. The first thing I want to do is when I start editing, I'm just going to go up to the editing tab. This just makes the interface just so much better. So what I want to do is I just want to go ahead and bring one of my video files over. So you can see right here, this is a photo file because it says PNG. This is a video file because of this icon right here. You can see that. So MP4, MOV is a video file format, but you can see that this is different because it has video and audio. And then right here, you can see that this one has video and audio. So these are the same color. So it tries to keep you color corrected in all of the respects and everything that you're doing. Okay, so this last one is green because it's actually an audio file. So you can see that. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're just going to take our file over here, and then we're just going to click and drag it over into our timeline sequence. Okay. And then once we bring it over into the timeline sequence, you can see the video is just nice. You can take this blue timeline indicator, just click and drag it, and it pretty much scrubs through the video. Okay. So what we want to do is go ahead and create the final video. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm just going to import the final video, and then we're going to take a look at it and see what it looks like. So I'm going to go here. Let's see, intro. I don't know if I actually made it. No. I imported it somewhere else, but so we're not going to take a look at it. We're going to make it. All right. So, I put in my night sky landscape. I'm going to click and drag my earth over here. So I'm just going to drag them in random places. And you can see that they're stacking on top of each other. So it kind of works in an interesting way. How everything works as far as layers. So with Premiere Pro, whatever's on top is what you're going to see depending on how big it is. So right now you can see that this video right here fills up the entire screen. All right. And I have this picture right here. We can tell that it's my picture because it's pink. We got pink over here. You can also see a little bit of the name. My picture, you can see it takes up the whole frame. So since my picture takes up the whole frame and my picture is on top, you can see that my picture is actually going to cover what's below. All right. So if I click over here to my hikers, you can see that my hikers don't take up the full screen. They just take up the portion of the screen that they're in. And you can see that my hikers are over top of my earth file. So when the hikers go in front of the earth, you can see that they cover up the earth. If I go ahead and move my earth file on top of the hikers, you can see that the earth is actually covering them up. So that's how it works in Premiere Pro as far as layers go. All right. So we need to organize these to make them look appropriate to our final video. Right now I'm just scrubbing through, and that's how you take a look at what you have on your composition. So we need to make the graphic intro our first portion of the video. So what we're going to do is we need to make that at the very beginning. So we can just click and drag this portion over. And since we're going to be making a graphic, we need to go to our graphics tab to find our graphic. So once we click on the graphics tab, we have all of our templates and things like that. So if your computer is already on edit, you just want to go ahead and click browse. If graphics, your essential graphics panel doesn't show up, you can go to window right here, and then you can just go ahead and click on essential graphics, and then that should pop up over here. All right. So next thing we're going to do is just going to scroll down to find our graphic that we are going to use. You need to use the same graphic. So we're just going to click and drag it over here. Okay. So it's pretty simple. So once we click and drag it, we can scroll to see exactly where the text is. And then once we see the text, we can just triple click it until it's red. And then we're just going to go ahead and type our name, if I can type right. And then, yeah. Cool. It's right. And then looks weird, but it is what it is. And then we could just go ahead and click episode and do the same thing, RTB 101A. And we can just click in a random area down here one time, so it's not highlighted anymore. And then we have our graphic animation just like this. Okay. So I'm just gonna go ahead and move my click and drag my night sky so it matches up right here. So as soon as this ends, you can see it starts something new. All right. So in the final video, we're not using this, so I can just go ahead and click this photo and just press delete on my keyboard to get rid of it, and it's gone just like that. And I want to move my earth file at the very beginning. You can see this is where all the files are going to start. I want them all to start at the same time. I'm just going to click and drag my hikers and scrub through. So this is looking good because you can see at this point the hikers are on top of the earth, just like the final example video looked like. And you can see right now on the screen it has a little pointer with a little text tool right there. What we can do is, you can see right here, we want to pretty much always click on this selection tool if we're not using text. If we did want to create text, we can just click on this text tool, click on the screen and start writing text. But since we're not doing text anymore, we just want to go ahead and click the selection tool. Makes our life a lot easier. So if you look right here, you can see that these two files are the same length, but our night sky landscape isn't the same length. So what we want to do is we can just hover over the end of this. You can see that. And once it's facing the direction we want it to go, because we don't want our night sky landscape to be this long, we want it the same length, we can just hover over it. And once that arrow is facing to the left, we just click and drag it. And what that does is it just shaves off the ends of the clip, so they're all identical, so the video will end at the proper point. Okay. Now what we want to do is we need to add our audio. So our audio is right here. So if you don't see the audio, you can kind of scroll up and down. This kind of helps you scrub up and down, but we don't have too many files over here, so you don't need to worry about that. So I'm just going to click and drag my audio into Premiere. And if I go ahead and go from the back and then I press play, we can actually hear the audio play. So you can press play right here, or you can hit the space bar, and we can see that plays. Now in the final video, at the end, it did have the same graphic animation as in the beginning. So what we could do is just click on this graphic animation, and then on our computer, actually we can press Control C. And what that did is it just copied this, and then we can bring our timeline indicator over in this area and then press Control V. And then you can see that it just pasted the exact same thing right here, so we don't have to do that again. And then I want it to start at the very end of this, so I can just click and drag it, and it kind of locks together. You can see that it locks it together for you, so you don't have to zoom in too much to actually get it right, which is pretty cool. So right now we're looking good if we go back to the beginning, we see the animation, we have the music playing, everything sounding good. It does lag a little bit because the video size are pretty big, as well as there might be things going on in the background. So when you're working with Premiere Pro, you might want to close down all the other programs to make it run faster. We also have this indicator right here, which you can click to a lower resolution, which allows you to see your files at a lower resolution, but it helps your computer run faster. If you have it at full resolution, it's going to take a lot of power up and it might start to lag a little bit more than normal. As you can see, I press play and it's kind of giving the computer a headache versus if I bring it to 1/4 and press play, and it kind of just starts playing right there. So perfect example. So now what we need to do is we need to make sure that our music cuts off at the right point. So we want our music to cut off at the very end right here. Okay, so I showed you one way where you can hover over and you can click and drag to manipulate it how you want. But I like using shortcut keys. So you can write this down. If you take your blue timeline indicator and kind of use it as a knife, you can just go ahead and click your file and then press Control, hold Control, and then press K. So you want to hold Control and then press K. And then what that's going to do is it's going to cut it. So now you can see if I click on this and click on this, it's two different files. Well, it's the same file, but it's just split. Okay. So now I can click on this file and just press delete on my keyboard, and you can see that it's cut. All right. So now we are almost there. So at the very end, I see it's hanging off a little bit. These two aren't quite identical. So I can just click here and kind of zoom in so you can see if you move this, click and drag it left and right, it zooms in where the blue timeline indicator is, and you can see that this isn't the same. So I can just go here, hover over it, right? And then click and drag, and then it's perfect. Okay. So then I can click and drag this to zoom out to see my whole composition. And now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and export. The way to export is you want to make sure that, because you can see we have all of this space here. So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and set our in and out point. Okay. So we take our blue timeline indicator, move it to the very beginning because we want our video to start at the very beginning. So we can just go ahead and press I on the keyboard. So we press I. As soon as we press I, you can see that there is a blue line on the left-hand side, and then everything is gray. And then our next step is we want to set our out point. So we can just click right here, because if you click anywhere in this area, you can see the blue timeline indicator just follows. So I'm just going to roughly place it close to the end, as you can see right there. And then I'm just going to go on my keyboard and press O, and you can see that the blue line appeared here, and you can hover over it and click and drag to make it perfectly lined up. So you can see, so everything in this gray area right here is going to be exported out, and all of this area is not. And even if we wanted to just export this portion out, we could do that and cut out our graphic design right here. We could just go, we can do it one way like this. We can press I or O. So in this case, we want to press O, and you can see how that works. And then we can press I right there, and then it's just going to export this. Okay. But we want to export the whole thing. So I'm just going to go to the front, press I, go to the back, press O, move this in, and then boom. This is what we're going to be exporting. Looks good. All right. So when we want to export, we just want to go up to File. And then we're going to go to Export. And we go to Media. Okay. And when we go to Export Media, what this does, work area, custom, sequence in and out. So this is the sequence in and out that we just did, but you can modify it. But this is the export setting area right here. This is export setting area. So the format that you will need to export your project in is H.264. So this is the proper format. As you can see, there's tons of different formats. So say, for instance, if you jump into the export settings and it says MP4 or one of these other options here, what you want to do is just go down to H.264 right here. Click that. Your preset should be match source low right here. So match source adaptive low bitrate. All of the bitrate sizes just determines how much information and how much size is going to be in your video. So right now we're just doing a low res video. So you're just going to hit preset match source adaptive low bitrate and then output name. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and click on the name right here, and then in your personal folder, okay, in your RTB folder, and then go to Premiere Profiles, and then what you want is Premiere Pro Exports. Hey, look at that. So, and then what you're going to do is just go ahead and name it. So I already have one named. So you want to go ahead and name yours. And then after you name it, you want to go ahead and click save. So the thing about it is when I clicked this, I was kind of already near my file, my folder that I wanted to save it in. You might have to go through the whole process back to your folder, but that's what you need to do. So go ahead and do that. And then just make sure export video box is checked and audio is checked, and you should be good. And after that, you just want to go ahead and click on export. And when you click on export, you're going to see the video processing. Right now it's encoding. And once that is finished, your video file will be in the folder that you saved it in. And after that, you just need to go ahead and email me the video to my email that I provided to you. And you are all good and set to go for your project.